Alright, everyone. Today we're doing a top 5 list for my top 5 favorite roles or performances that Sylvester Stallone has done over the years. Pretty much everybody knows this man. He's a huge actor. He's been around. He's been doing it for a while. He was, breakout star back in the day. And now he's just a household name, the Italian Stallion, or whatever, however you want to, all his other nicknames. He's a great actor. Got a pretty long list of movies, but these are my top 5 favorite roles, characters he's played over the years. The ones that I enjoy the most, and these are purely my opinions. But let's just get into it. Why don't we? First up, we have his character Ray from Escape Plan, which is not like the most. It's not his most successful movie by any means. But I actually enjoyed this movie. I thought it was pretty decent. Um, but mostly I liked his character in the movie. Like he plays a kind of a very interesting character in this movie. He's basically a guy who makes his living off of testing the security of prisons. Like he puts himself in prisons, usually against the warrants. And the way he does it is he doesn't tell anybody in the prison that he's doing this. He just gets himself incarcerated, and then breaks out of prison, and then his team of lawyers and assistants come in and making sure everything's cool and everything, and then he shows them, and then he basically charges them to make their prison better. It's a very interesting business actually, and it was very interesting to watch this. And in the movie, mild spoiler alert, but in the movie, the whole plot is that someone has gotten mad at him over the years for breaking through all these prisons, so they try to put him in the most secure prison in the whole world, like this blacklist underground prison, and he teams up with Arnold Schwarzenegger, who's another inmate there, and they have to break out. And it's a very interesting movie. It's not the most well done movie, but it was mildly interesting. His character, the idea of a guy who spends his life breaking out of prisons is pretty interesting to me. I thought that was a cool idea. His character and Michael Scofield from Prison Break could totally, be awesome together. Just putting that out there, guys. So yeah, I really enjoyed his character from this movie. Next up, we have his character Rambo from the Rambo movies. Very, very interesting. Kind of complex, but also sort of one-dimensional character. He's interesting. This movie is about a guy who was a huge warrior, savage killing machine during Vietnam, and then whenever the war's over, he kind of finds that he has no place in modern society or in the Western world. And so the first movie anyway, follows his exploits in this town, getting in trouble with the police and basically having to defend himself, and it's all about survival. Even it's an interesting movie. It's a very interesting fish out of water story, focusing on a man who has no purpose in life anymore. And it's a very captivating story, a very old story, and it's also a very good action movie. Rambo is a total badass, and he's unforgiving, but he also has he has multiple sides to his character, but the side that everybody loves is his total badass side. So yeah, Rambo is definitely like the first. I think Rambo was one of the first times we really get to see just how badass Stallone can be, just how good of an action star he is. So you gotta give due credit there. Here we have another one of his tough guy roles from the Expendables. His name of his character is kind of escaping me right this second, but these movies are great because it's like all-star cast, but Stallone still shines very bright, and even with all these other huge actors, new and old, it's really a testament to how great of a presence he has on film, that he can actually still stand out among all these other guys. He's basically playing like an older version of an older version of Rambo. Kind of, sort of. He's this mercenary who's been at the job for years. Doing all these crazy missions that he should have been dead on, and he's still alive. And it's really a movie about about aging and about adapting to the times, and realizing that one of these days you're not going to be the same person you were. You're going to get older. You're going to get outplayed by newer people. It's just and you gotta pass the torch. It's a very interesting idea, and people don't really see that all the time. You know, it's most time the Expendables is just like a crazy action film, but it does actually have a little bit deeper story, like story meaning to it, and that's what I like about these movies. Plus, there's also a lot of cool action. They get to blow up a lot of shit and shoot a lot of people. It's fun times. Next up, we have his character of Rocky Balboa from the Rocky movies. This is a movie that basically put him on the map. You know, basically made his career, got him into Hollywood. And from what I remember, he wrote and helped direct and pretty much did everything for this movie. And you know, like I remember reading in an interview that the studio wanted to take his movie, but they didn't want him to star in it. But he wanted to star in it, and he would not back down until some company finally took it with him as a star, and it was a breakout success. And that's a really strong message that, you know, you shouldn't give up, you shouldn't settle for less than what you're worth. And I think that's kind of a lot of what makes Stallone so great to a lot of people, is that he's a self-made guy. You know, like he didn't really look into it for the most part. He worked for it, and that's what's great. Rocky is the same way. The story of Rocky is about a guy who doesn't want to give up, who knows what his worth is, and he keeps fighting for it. And by the end of the movie, he doesn't. And the great thing, spoiler alert, I guess, if you haven't seen this movie in the last 30 years, but spoiler alert, he doesn't actually win in this movie. You know, he gets beat by Apollo at the end of the movie, but he proves to everybody that what his worth is. And he wins the respect of a lot of people in the movie by lasting as long as he does against Apollo. So it's a really great like underdog story, you know, and it's gonna go down in cinema as one of the best things ever. So you really gotta appreciate that. And then finally we have his performance as, I believe his character's name was Freddy from Copland. Copland's a really great movie, and I feel like it's kind of an overlooked movie. Like, you know, not as many people know about it as they should, and it's really good. It's got a great cast with Stallone, you know, leading it up as a small town sheriff in this little town that's like right next to a bigger city with a corrupt police force. And this movie's all about basically Stallone having to get caught in the middle of a big, you know, murder investigation, including some dirty cops, and then he has to basically fight against the dirty cops and prove that they're corrupt and all this. It's a really good movie because, and what's so great about his character is that he kind of plays a loser for most of this movie. Like, he's this guy who's not happy with his life. He always wanted to be like a higher up in law enforcement, but he couldn't because he has a bad ear. And, you know, he couldn't pass like the medical tests or whatever, so he can't do what he really wants to do in life, and he's just really resentful because of it. And he's like stuck in this, even though he's a sheriff of a town, you know, that's surrounded by so many bigger police forces, and so he really kind of gets stuck doing like mundane things. Like, there's a part in the movie where he gets called because a neighbor is stealing somebody's trash or something like that. It's just really, and it's interesting because you're so used to seeing Stallone playing these epic heroes, you know, badasses, and here he is, kind of an everyday, you know, cop character who really wants more out of life, and he's just trying to do the right thing. And mild spoiler alert for anybody that hasn't seen this movie, doing the right thing doesn't really work out as good for him as you would think. You know, go figure. But this is a great little movie with a small scale story, but with big stakes, is a good way to put it. And he does a great job playing this kind of everyman character. This is also one of those movies where you can tell the actor picks it because it showcases a range of an actor. Like, you just know that he wanted to do this role because it would show him in a different light than his normal roles, and that it would show more dimension to his acting abilities, and it does. It totally does. You know, he actually really shines in this movie, more so than he does in a lot of his other movies where he's just kind of a generic like badass or tough guy. So there you go. There's my 5 videos for my 5 favorite Stallone. Appreciate you guys for your time as always. Like, comment, subscribe. Check me out on Patreon. All that stuff. Let me know if you have any ideas for what you want me to do next, like top 5 list wise. If you want me to do top 5 of certain actors' roles or certain genre or a certain type of movie or even some TV stuff, just let me know. So thanks, guys.